This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Josh, if you're listening, we want water. Okay.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. I am so excited to finally have this next guest onto the show. There were circumstances that got us finally connected with each other, which I can't talk about on camera, but I'm just super grateful that he did reach out finally and agreed to come onto The Public Affair. So thank you. Alonzo McAdoo, welcome, by the way. Hello.
Thank you.
Yes, now before we continue with this exciting episode of The Public Affair, I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in every single week. Of course, to Josh, who came in early to record this episode. I appreciate it, Josh, because, Alonzo's booked and busy. He said, excuse me, what do you mean? Like, no, I have somewhere to be midday hours, okay? I'm booked and busy. And to all of you guys, thank you again so much, and to Josh. Now, of course, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity. I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by David Santabanez with Linear Real Estate. He is the #1 sales agent in his office, and he has been since he started sponsoring The Public Affair 5 years ago. He's the best at Linear Real Estate. He'll help you buy a home or sell your property. Follow him on Facebook at David with Linear. If you don't know how to buy a house, you don't know where to start, you don't know what you're doing, my boy David's going to walk you through the process step by step. He knows exactly how to make sure you get the best deal and to make sure you guys are taking that beautiful picture in front of your brand new house with your family. David Santabanez is the GOAT. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my girl Anika Armstrong at Armstrong's Bayou Cafe and Bayou Po' Boys, serving the most authentic Creole cuisine, yes, darling, with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. Now listen, all of her pastas are my go-to. I absolutely love them. Her shrimp basket, the breading is just so perfect. It's not overbearing. I don't even, it's just, it's obsessive. I love it. It's giving dinner. It's giving dinner. I'm going to go to Union Grove today. Go check them out. If you're here in the Waco area, Union Hall, they got them as well. And she's got a food truck now too. So you guys can book her for events. You guys can book her for whatever you want. She's mobile now. She's doing the damn thing. Armstrong's Bayou Cafe, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to Manny Guerrero with Blue Star RV Services. He's a mobile RV tech who can fix all RVs. I'm talking about travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and so much more. And those food trucks. Me and Alonzo are so tired of going to these community events with all these food trucks. And no, you can't get the fries because the machine is down. No. Call Blue Star RV Services. That way he can get that fixed for you guys. All right. If you guys are under warranty, he'll make sure he deals with all that. Pay him a small service fee, and him and his team have got you. Blue Star RV Services, thank you so much. Of course, to Jesse and Tanya Sotomayor with Lucas Pizzeria and they're the best thing to come out of Belmead. They're the best thing to come out of Belmead, except for that one person I used to see. That's it. All right. And they're serving the best New York style pizza, burgers, beer, everything. It's a perfect restaurant for the family when everybody wants something a little bit different. You guys have got to follow their social media. They're constantly having great deals, and brunch may be coming soon. But I can't talk too much about that. But to Lucas Pizzeria, thank you so much. And of course, to Jeff Davis, the Texas car plug at University Mazda Kia. Hit him up for the best deal on a brand new or pre-owned vehicle. Listen, if your credit is just not giving, if it's bad credit, or if you have good credit, whatever kind of credit looks like, whatever your financial circumstances are, he's going to make sure that you're getting the best deal and rolling off the lot, grinning from ear to ear. Jeff Davis is truly the GOAT, and I'm so grateful for all he does for me and the show. To Jeff Davis, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. All right, guys. So like I said, I'm super excited to have this next guest onto the show because he came in my crosshairs, I'd say about 3 years ago, right? And I thought I reached out to him, and I really didn't. It was a different Alonzo. Oops. I used to drink a lot back then, okay? I used to drink a lot back then. Yeah, no, I was an alcoholic. I was just had a lot going on. I was in the midst of my fame. And so, some circumstances derived recently where he called my phone by fluke. When I saw McAdoo Alonzo on my caller ID, I said, "Oh my goodness, you're calling to be on the show." He's like, "No, I'm calling about something else." I was like, "Oh, do you want to come on the show?" Have you heard of it? He is the executive director at what he does for the school systems here in town. But you know what? I want to get to know about his life and what inspires him to do what he does. And he is here on The Public Affair. Welcome, Alonzo McAdoo.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good today.
Yes, you're doing good. Yeah. I was expecting the loafers and the suit when you walked in. You came in very cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty casual today. It's a Friday.
Yeah, for sure. And happy Valentine's Day to you and the wife.
Yeah.
You and the wife. Okay. What do you do for Valentine's Day?
For us, it's just a normal day, Try to make sure we still communicate, still try to have just a normal conversation.
Sure.
And number one thing I've been trying to work on over these past 20 years is just make sure I listen.
Oh, okay, got you.
Right? And then I listen as far as what she wants, what she doesn't want, and don't try to force it.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Do you think people overdo Valentine's Day too much now? Now everybody's really into the photo shoots and, the glitz and the glamour and the production. And...
No, I don't think they should. I think it's a day that everyone should take that time out to really show that person you're with that you really care about them, you love them, and do the most you can. Do the most.
Yeah. I love Valentine's Day. I'm always single on Valentine's Day, but that's okay. You know what I mean? One day somebody will cherish this for Valentine's Day. Yeah, but it's all good. You know what I mean? You know, I first caught wind of you. I want to give a huge shout out because when I think of leadership in this town, especially as it pertains to the Hispanic community, because I'm Latino, I want to give a huge shout out to Dominic Villa, who was on this show. You were on his then podcast called A Man with No Plan, I believe was what it was called. Yeah. I watched some of it because I didn't want to watch the whole thing because I didn't want to, I feel like that's cheating. You know, since I was going to have you on this show. But, you know, he spoke very highly of you on that show, and you played a really big inspiration in his life and the life of others. I wonder what that means to somebody like you, Alonzo.
You know, being from Waco and having that opportunity to be in front of kiddos and then see them to grow up to be who Dominic Villa is, it's a blessing. It's something you can't dream of ever happening, because even before when I became an educator, I didn't think that I would have that type of influence and still have that connection with him. When I see Dominique to this day, I just be like, man, that dude's a proud father. He's taking care of his business. And how can I just be more impactful in not only his life, but other students that I come into contact with? Because it's, for me, being an educator is far bigger than just getting that curriculum across, that lesson across. It's about setting that example and developing, you know, just model citizens of the day.
Yeah, and I love that he was you look like you're our age. You do. You look like you're our. Now I'm 33 years young. I'll be 34 this year.
Yeah, I'm 41.
Are you 41?
Yeah.
Jesus, Louises.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
too.
but you know, maybe it's because you're not really any older. I mean, it's not even 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so do you think that played an easier role as an educator to connect with the people that were around our age at the time?
I think they did, because I could relate a little bit to the technology piece and try to speak to some of the things that they have their interest in, but also it's about staying grounded in it too, not changing, because even though you may evolve as a person, you still want to stay grounded in it, stay grounded in who you are, stay grounded with your roots, and I think just being a part of Waco and having this experience of seeing Waco itself evolve is something special, and I think that connects with a lot of young people, because I know I can connect with where they've been or what they may be experiencing, and I know this is that, and that's why I believe in being an educator of all, is because I know that education can change where they are. You know, I want them to have that opportunity to just grow from. And
education's so important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But and I do want to give another huge shout out because Dominic Villa, I really have so much respect for him. I really do. I like him a lot. Now, you know, if it was 3 years ago, I'd be trying to slide in them DMs. But that's different, right? No, I have a lot of respect. You know, I wonder, Alonzo, what was your life like growing up? Because from what I understand, you're from pretty much all of Waco, but mainly South Waco, if I'm not mistaken. So I wonder, what was your experience growing up around that time?
Oh, man. Well, both mom and dad have both parents in my house, and my dad and mother both heavily involved in me and my sister's life. Right?
Oh, good.
And it started from elementary when I attended South Waco Elementary. My father, man, I had some great teachers, but my dad was always around. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
Like I thought I would, you know, it was that during that time where you could change your slip in the room, like you go from green to yellow. the colors, yeah.
Oh,
so I was changed almost every day.
Okay,
you know,
were you the red card or?
Oh, once I got the red, and I'm like, you know, they just don't like me. That's all I would say. You know,
you're playing the victim,
man. And I didn't think, and it never crossed my mind that he had the ability to show up. And he starts showing up.
Wait, like to class?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And you know they had those little windows in the door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just be in there. Oh my god. And what's so crazy about it though, he never came at me with "I'm finna get you" type deal. Okay. He was like, "What are we doing from this? What are you trying to do?" Oh, okay. Even in third grade, fourth grade. So that was my experience at South Waco, and it helped me like really hone in. And then we ended up moving over to East Waco, and I went over to Carver and had that experience there with some strong teachers as well. And but finally went over to University High School and you know, played a little ball there. But throughout that whole experience here in Waco, man, my father and mother and my younger sister we were close.
Oh, that's good.
We were tight.
That's real good. And you know, I wonder, did you embrace what the advantage was like at the time? Oh. You know, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they grow up in separate parent households, and for you, it was a little bit different. Dad was really, really involved, and I always say a little boy needs his father no matter what, or a father figure at the very least. And so I wonder, did you? At the time, I'm sure you were like embarrassed, like, "Yo, Dad, what are you doing?"
Yeah, this guy this guy had no filter, right? Okay. And he would, whether it be football practice, we ain't talking about just the games.
Sure.
practice, showing up on time out there with the coaches and sitting there watching.
Yeah.
And I think about that now, and some of my former teammates, they tell me how, man, that was cool. He was over there. He felt like we could go to him. I was like, that guy?
Yeah.
Like, this dude was irritating, man. Like, he's over there just weird, man.
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah.
coming here. Like, nobody else is here. Let me do my thing.
Sure.
And now that I look back, I'm so grateful for it because
so
I think if his presence wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd be right here with you.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
to be honest.
But shout out to Dad. Is he still?
Yeah, he's still like living in Fort Worth.
Ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he's still that. Man, he sends random texts, and you know he says he's a Cowboys fan.
Sure,
he's
sure.
the biggest one.
No, it sounds like it sounds like he was a big disciplinarian though. Now, were you getting your ass whooped more than just like those stern talking tos, or was it vice versa?
No, it was just mainly a lot of talking and trying to reason with me on my actions, and I made sure that I listened because I can tell you this, and I haven't really shared this, but there was a moment I came back home and I've been driving and all that, and there was a lighter in my car and all that. I never smoked. I ain't never done it, but he came up behind me and he goes, "Whoever that was smoking in your car, don't have them in there." And I thought about that, especially over time. I was like, he didn't automatically say you out here doing X, Y, Z. He knew what type of person I was.
Yeah.
And when I reflecting on it, like, dang, he don't see me as this guy just trying to.
Okay.
But he actually knows who I am and what I'm trying to do. So
I think that's really great too, because a lot of parents, and by no means I'm no parent, right? But a lot of parents, they would be quick to jump the gun. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do?
He's
like,
long,
why?
Tall, is finna whoop you, all this stuff. And he was a different guy. And I just respected the way he let, because he's only 20 years older than me. He was like 19. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's just been there.
Do you think that the way his disciplinary, methods were in terms of like stern talking to you, do you think that was more effective? We're all used to just getting whoopings, right? Yeah.
Now I can count on my hand how many times he did. Okay. Well, I earned those things. Okay. I was out there. I earned them. Yeah, he gave me about 3, but I definitely earned them. And so I was accustomed to that. But now Mom, on the other hand, she was different.
Oh, okay. She was doing the whippings.
Yeah, she let those hands go.
Okay, gotcha. And then I well, shout out to my friend Jared. Could remember I worked with her for such a long time, and she told her son when he was finally like mid-teen, you might know him, and I shouldn't put their business out there, but no, I remember her being on the phone one time and I guess he was smarting off at her, and she was like, "You may be too old for whoopings, but you're not too old for these hands." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing now."
Forget that, Bill. That's how it is.
For sure. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you had such a positive impact in your life, and especially as it pertains to your surroundings. I wonder what your career in education, like, why did you start that?
Oh, he helped guide me on the path of life and helped me prioritize. But I started that because, to be honest, I didn't know when I left out of Waco and went to school. I didn't really know which way I wanted to go. Okay. And if it wasn't for Ms. Bennett and Coach Armando Jacinto, again, it's like pivotal, like those pivotal points, and you run into people that guide you, and it's like in each phase. From like I can think elementary was Diane Dillon. Sure, man, she didn't care. I couldn't smile my way out of things with her. Yeah, you can't. You spelled this wrong. So definitely. Her expectations were extremely high in middle school. Ms. Johnson, she didn't play, and then so it just continued to go that way. And if it wasn't for Ms. Bennett, though, I credit her with me becoming a teacher, because she told me, like, you're either going to be the president or you're going to be a teacher.
Oh, okay.
As she was putting me outside of the classroom to sit outside of my desk. I couldn't stay in.
For sure.
But as I listened to those words, because I was very,
I'm sure you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, well, I know I was pretty combative when it came to history. I wanted to discuss those points.
Okay,
I wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to just look at the pages and just take down notes. And I wanted to understand why, our world is shaped the way it is now. I really wanted to dive into that at a young age. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, brother. But I did want to have those conversations. Sometimes to get the class a little.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Get Matt outside. You know where your chair is."
Okay. You and I would have a really good brunch conversation over some history and current events.
Yeah.
But we said we were going to keep it classy on the public affair. Okay. No, I'm sorry. So did you start off like as the coach, teacher, and then you kind of just elevated up, or? Yes, sir. Yes, okay. Sir. What was your? Because the coach teachers are always the cool ones, right? Those are the ones that you just got to buy the merch from, and then you pass the class. That's how I passed U.S. history in Hialeah, Florida.
Yeah,
Okay, because every time you bought a towel for $5, it was 2 test grade A's. So I was like, bet. Okay, I can't tell you a single thing about Texas history because we didn't take that. But no, I wonder. So did you kind of start off like I guess as the cool teacher, and then did you have any challenges? I guess is my question. And
man, I had a lot. I thought that when I went into that class, I'll never forget.
Yeah,
I go and I'm thinking, hey, I'm a coach.
I got this.
I'm a male.
Yeah.
They're gonna listen to me right out the gate.
Okay, no. They dog walked you.
Oh man, it was embarrassing. That first year, I was like, please. I was over there regretting. I was like in October, but I don't know if this is what I need to be doing. I don't know, man. Like, this, little Candy's eating me up here, man. This dude's tough,
Yeah, for sure.
And so it wasn't in fact until I started to learn from those educators around me.
Oh, I see.
And I said to myself, something is weird. This student in your class ain't doing much. They go right next door and they work for this teacher, outstanding.
Okay.
Like presenting. And I'm like, what? And then that's when that deep reflection comes into play. Like, what is it that you're doing?
Okay, gotcha.
It's on you.
Sure.
And man, when I tell you, it wasn't, I thought I was going to be the one teaching kids. I was wrong. They were teaching me every day.
Okay.
For the past 5 years.
That's a different way to look at it.
Yeah. So like when you say Dominic Villa or Angela Zuna, they taught me.
Really?
They showed me how to be a greater person and reflect, because I had a lot of gaps.
Okay, yeah. So, I and that kind of leads me to my next question. I wonder, what strategy did you use to finally just tap in with them and gain that respect?
First, come prepared.
Okay.
Don't think you're just gonna go in there and walk it. 2, know who you. Yeah, we got this. They are gonna listen to me. Wrong.
Okay, yeah.
Come in there prepared and actually show that you care about the topic that you're telling. When you display that passion, they might buy into it too, and then know who your audience is.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I know for a fact that I don't want to say. I know this student. She may want something dealing with at the time, like the Dougie, that's all right. So how do you connect this? Even do a little rap for him.
He said the Dougie. Our age is showing. Come on.
I remember those days.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But I remember Stanky Leg.
Yeah, remember when the Soldier Boy was the biggest thing and you thought you were cool if you knew how to do that?
You got there doing this all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I think about just taking a little snapshot of who's in the room and then try to make it fun for them, because in reality, like, if you truly do it right, you don't want by the time the bell rings, they should be saying, oh, man, no, they don't want to leave.
Yeah, I got you.
And then at the end of the year, they'd be like, man, I don't want to leave your class. How do I get back in here?
Yeah. And that's got to kind of be like almost a hard balance to keep, right? Because I can just recall growing up, and I'm Dominic's age or maybe just a little bit older, but you were either the really, really cool teacher who we knew we were just going to have that cake day with, or you were that teacher who I just absolutely resented going to your class because I just knew you were going to be there. How did you find just a medium balance on that, Alonzo? That's got to be difficult.
Yeah, because, Dominic, he want to come in and talk about what happened the night before with the Cowboys, or he want to talk about this and that. Coach, tell me about your lift and get out there. No. I always let him know, once we close that door,
right,
it's nothing but history.
It's history. Okay. Oh, so you were teaching history.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it.
So we're going to focus on that. We're going to get that going. And then let me tell you these stories. Let me help you learn how to research. Let me help you investigate and find out how these people think, and help them understand they want no different than you and I. They have their needs, their wants, and what they want to do. And let's just make it real.
Sure. And then surely you dealt with your own, handful of kids that were just really, really hard to tap into. I wonder, is there anybody, hold on, wait, is there anybody you could think of now who you kind of see, today, and you thought in the past, oh my goodness, you were a nightmare, but I'm really happy to see that you're doing well. Or still making it. You want to give them a shout out? You can. We won't get in trouble. I get beat up all the time. You're good. Yeah.
I don't want to put them out there, but I just want to say to you, you may, if you're watching this, you may know who you are. I'm extremely proud of all that you've become.
Okay, wait.
Keep going.
Here's the hint. Were they on the show?
I'll say this to you.
Were they on this podcast?
Man, I had some rough
tepiders,
they would normally line those up for me. You got them, Mac. Like, this is what we're going to do. And I'd be like, I took it as a badge of honor, but some of these guys, the kids that you see today, don't judge them.
Sure.
Don't, man. You don't know what this young person going to do. They're flowers.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know what I think about? Like, Cambridge Williams, how he's playing in the NBA right now. When he was in 7th and 8th grade, he was just a smaller kid trying to figure it out.
Sure.
Had no idea that kid would grow to be 6'8".
Right.
Had no idea that kid would grow to be who he is today. And that's why you got to go into it with an open mind of, Don't judge them. New day, a new day. Hey, I was stern with you yesterday, but you back here today. Let's get it going. Let's learn from it. And if you had that type of energy, man, watch what they become. Because I can tell you this: when I first went back and as an educator, I had to apologize to a lot of people in that.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
I used to get some problems, but they all shot like he made it. Like what is he? I'm here. Let's go.
That's it. Yeah.
So,
I think when you just approach things with an open mind, like you stated earlier, you learn a lot about people. You know what I mean? And that's how anyway. Okay, so I wonder, so you did the coaching, right? Excuse me, you were the coach teacher. Then you moved up to principal, and now you're something higher than principal now, right?
Yeah, I just it's still like. Education is education. Educating is educating. I'm still a teacher in a sense, but now I'm teaching in the sense of trying to ensure that principals are able to not only continue their growth, but actually help carry out a vision of my superiors, try to carry out their vision, but also make sure that in all things that they're supported.
Okay, sure.
Because I can, after being in that role for over a decade, I understand that the complexities of that role require a lot of isolation at times, time to reflect.
Yeah.
And you often feel alone and responsible at the same time.
Okay.
So how do you support an educational leader to not only not be so hard on themselves, but also see the positives that they are doing? Because there's easy point out the negatives. We naturally do that. But how do you help them see that, be that mirror for them, and then say, hey, I know you're thinking about it this way and I respect it, but how can we do it this way?
I see.
And that's it's exhausting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tasking.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's quite daunting.
But man, when you got a great group of people, and here's what I've always thought about. Like, I feel so, I'm going to tell you right now, I feel so lucky to work around some of the people I work with, because I'd be like, man.
That's good.
Oh, man, that person. I just have like, it's like you on the all-star team, you like, I got some people around here I get to work with, and I just try to, I'm still in student. I often switch from student to teacher mode all throughout the day, every day. Sure. I'm like, let me just be quiet and take this in right quick, because this is some good stuff.
Most definitely, yeah. What was your favorite, though? Did you like being the coach, teacher, or principal, or what you're doing now?
That's you got me.
I know. I get everybody. I told you. Hello.
I'll tell you, I enjoy all roles equally, because it still gets me in my ability to just connect with people. But I think that I have to say that that early start of being that teacher/coach role was the most memorable.
I see.
I honestly, for 5 years that I taught, I never felt like I worked.
I got you. I
got up in my man. It was just I'm getting excited thinking about it now.
He got loose. He started slouching on the seat. I was like, hold on, okay. I was trying to be nice with the questions.
That one right there. It just that right there. When you have those kids in front of you,
it's different.
Yeah, these are real people.
Yeah,
what can you do?
You know what? And before we go to break, this is something I wanted to touch on. A lot of people are really into homeschooling right now. Now, that was just absolutely out of the question when I was growing up, right? Take your ass to school. Okay. Yeah. But, people have their own motives for why they want to, homeschool and stuff like that. And, it could either. Anyway, I don't want to get in trouble. What are your thoughts on homeschooling? And do you think it's as effective as it is than them actually attending real school, for lack of a better term?
I think. In fact, I'm actually doing a presentation on this in my doctoral course next weekend.
Sweet.
Virtual learning is a permanent option.
You can use this clip in your...
Okay,
yes.
So, I do think it has its benefits, to be honest.
Do you? Okay.
And I think it allows students to if they are homeschooled, because of the technology advancements in that virtual setting, I don't think we're there. I wouldn't personally go with it. I mean, I have my kiddos in public school right now.
Right.
But I think as time continues to progress, the amount of skill training, because now it could be to a level where a kiddo is face-to-face, logging in, Face ID, it's on you on that screen, and it can teach you, but it also has its downfalls.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, just like thinking back through the pandemic when we were doing that virtual learning, that social aspect.
I wonder, that's my biggest thing, is that I wonder if it hinders your social skills.
In my opinion, it does, because... Which
is completely vital to maneuvering in life.
The level of anxiety and anxious of being in a room and having that fear of going up to person and speaking, those soft skill sets are extremely important, and almost as more, or if not more valuable than it is to just be able to have the knowledge of how to do something.
Yeah.
Because if you can't communicate, if you can't like the skill set in which you're displaying right now, being able to flow with it and get these topics going like that, man, that's a skill, bro.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you can't get that on the screen.
No.
You sitting there just talking, looking at the screen yourself, like you're missing out.
That took years of being antisocial, actually.
Okay.
And being on the internet. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But I honestly believe that you have to have that constant face-to-face interactions, that whether it's interaction that you don't agree with, or whatever, dislike, it can't always be your comfort zone, and it sharpens you, it shapes you into a person that's flexible.
And I think it's so important for kids, especially now, to be exposed to different cultures and different types of other kids, whether it be a kid who's really well off or not really well off, a kid who's a little strange, a kid who's not really strange, a kid super, you know what I mean? I think it's important to be, I feel like that just helps your social dynamic growing up, you know what I mean? And how to just blend in with everybody and talk to everybody, you know what I mean? I just don't feel like you get that from homeschooling, you know what I mean?
No. But you do, I think, on the other end, though, especially as technology continues to improve, your ability to analyze and critique, what you can get in the school setting too, but the amount of time to actually focus on instructional practices without distractions probably increases.
Okay, I see.
So
I'm glad I asked you.
You can be locked in.
Yeah, but
like ain't nothing going on but mama in the kitchen, so let me go and knock this out.
That's it.
And depending on what type of setting you have at home too, because I don't want to paint the stereotype that every home would be that way. But it depends on the home set. If it's truly structured and organized, it could be beneficial.
There should be a separate room. You can't be next to the PS5 because I'm
I got this.
Yeah, I'm on my 15-minute break. No, you know what, Alonzo? I'm loving it so much. I want to continue, but we're going to take a quick break, okay? Right. And when we get back, I want to learn more about your perspective on the educational dynamic within the city as it pertains to the city, and so much more, you guys. So we're going to be right back with my very special guest, Alonzo McAdoo is here. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this exciting episode of The Public Affair. My very special guest, Alonzo McAdoo. Now, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity. I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to Julian and Ana Banda with Banda's Hauling Service. They rent dump trailers. Right, you fill it up, they haul it away. They also do junk removals and tree brush removals, and they haul cars in and out of town. If the car breaks down and you need a tow truck, call Banda's Hauling Service. If you guys are having those big giant Mexican parties and you don't have any trash cans, call Banda's Hauling Service. He offers roll-off dumpster services as well. Or if you're getting ready for spring cleaning, because, I know we're having like a winter storm next week or something, but you guys know spring will be here in a few weeks, all right? So just hit them up for everything. 100% reliable, and the GOATs. Julian Anabanda, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode. Of course, to my boy Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez at Soco Soccer Academy, offering team, small group, and individual skills training with elite skills training to make your kids superb star athletes. Soco Child Care Center is actually one of the most superb child care centers in town and perfect for a child's social development as well. I want to give a huge shout out to the Soco soccer teams, to my bro, Coach Mauro Maldonado, Coach Megan, Coach Jeff. You guys are truly the GOATs, and I don't think that these kids can be put with anybody better than you guys just to improve on their championship skills and their prowess and everything. I'm so proud of you guys, and the Public Affair is so grateful to sponsor you guys. And of course, the Strike a Pose Photography with Myra Rosada. It's a digital photo business perfect for private events, corporate events, and so much more. It's fun, it's convenient, it's easy. She's also offering digital customized invitations as well, and she's got the new photo studio so you guys can do your individual photo shoots. Hello. All right. And she's constantly she's got Mother Day deals coming up, her Valentine's Day deals here. Strike a Pose Photography is truly the GOAT. Myra Rosada, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. All right, guys, we're back with my very, very special guest, Alonzo. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. I love the conversation so far. I think this is so different than anything that I've ever done because we want to talk about education a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I told you now I'm an inspiration because I get booked for all the career days. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can't be talking about what I talked about 3 years ago. Like when Dominic was on the show 3 years ago. I mean, you've been married over about 20 years? About 20. Yeah. What was? Let's see. I can't even be in a relationship for more than a couple weeks.
She's patient.
Okay.
It's really her. It's not. She's patient, and she's just a dynamic person that continues to just deal with my my level of focus. And
sure. Yeah. I always say in a relationship, or I ask, what is your secret? Do you think? Besides patience.
Patience number
or is that the
one,
easy way out?
Someone has to be the one to listen, and someone has to be the person that allows the other person to have that space to just vent and just go right and not, got this thing, listen but don't judge.
Oh yeah,
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I used to believe that when I heard issues or something come up, I need to fix that.
Yeah, most definitely.
No,
you're good.
I'm here for it. I'm always gonna be there, and then just listen and try to take it slow, and don't try to compare what you have to somebody else.
True, yeah.
That's foolish. You never know what that person may be going through behind closed doors, and just understand that if you're living today on this planet, everybody got their challenges and struggles that they're doing.
Absolutely.
So embrace them, celebrate others, and then if you do have someone, try to cherish and make what you have grow.
Do you think it's important for you in the relationship as a man to lead in the relationship? I saw something on that recently.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so much to lead, but it is very important to take responsibility.
Okay.
Take ownership.
Yeah.
Like, I love collaborating and listen to ideas because I tell you, her brain works far differently than mine. Things I would never be thinking about. But I do know if things aren't going right, in that sense that I do believe it's important for a man to take responsibility and ownership over.
I love that.
Like, I think I should take ownership of things aren't moving the right way. Lights ain't working. This ain't break.
Yeah.
And not just the physical part, but the emotional aspects too. Like I've learned, and it's funny that I'm at this point in my life and I'm finally getting it that talking is very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I could go a whole day with 5 words and become,
Okay. Yeah.
Some people don't like that. And raising too young.
I know. I feel like when there's an issue, can we please talk about it? What are you ignoring me for? You know what I mean? Let's use our words.
I have nothing going on up top. Just sitting here. And I'm working extremely hard to make sure I create a space for my 2 daughters. I got one that's in those teenage years now, and my younger, and I'm trying to make sure. And it's hard for me, bro.
Sure,
I promise you. But I'm really trying to make sure I'm giving them a space where they can talk to me.
Absolutely.
About something.
Absolutely.
And just tell me what your day was about. I'm turning off everything. Phone down.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Just have a conversation.
Forget what's going on out there. What's up? What you like?
I got you.
What's happening?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? What's your fears? What are you things you want? And when I first started doing it, it looked at me kind of weird. Like, that's
They'll learn to appreciate it later.
Yeah, but
especially how a man's supposed to treat them.
And I'm trying.
I don't know what I'm gonna do because I always feel like a man should lead, but I'm gonna be in and I don't,
But y'all
it's not gonna work for me.
It out.
No, I love my gay friends. Shout out to y'all. I just don't think 2 men should live together. Period. I don't think 2 men should live together. Shout out to all my friends who are living together right now. I'm sure y'all. I just don't. So I'm weird gay. I'm
okay.
Almost on the spectrum where I shouldn't be gay anymore, but it's just not gonna happen.
But that's when you make it your own, right? That's how you.
We can live next door, and we can, you know what I mean. We can have separate houses. I just don't think we should. Men are just there should be balance. Anyway, okay, that's deteriorating. Anyway, okay, so I wonder for somebody who spends so many years in education, the education field, and you're very, very involved. I wonder what your perspective is on the biggest hindrance in a child's educational development. You see how you love that, right?
Yeah.
You see how I curved you there? There you go.
What is the biggest hindrance can you repeat it for me? Let me try to get that right.
I wonder what your biggest hindrance in a child's educational development is. For instance, do you think that when a kid is having a hard time learning in school or grasping the concept of what you guys are doing, do you think that that's an issue that starts at home, or do you think that that's an individual issue, or what do you think the issue is?
It's funny you say that because I used to believe and that it was a one-size-fits-all problem.
Okay.
Now where I said that question is so complex. Because you can have a kid thriving at home.
Right.
Hyper respectful. Working the games at Baylor with mom and dad, all that, and they come into school and have the biggest challenges in the world.
Okay.
So is it the school environment? Could be. And then you can have someone that's thriving at school and going through extreme challenges at home. So I think, and I love how my professor put it, the work in which we do is hard. Education in itself is challenging, but people are so complex and far more than just a swipe pane of what it is. And I think that's why you can throw as much money as you want into education, and funding is important.
Absolutely.
But when you talk about people, when you talk about connecting, that's why teachers are the driving force, man.
Yeah.
You can't get an excellent teacher at Walgreens. You can't go off Amazon and say, everybody can have a great equipment, but you got to have someone that's willing to be self-serving and willing to give of themselves a lot.
Gotcha.
And I think that might be the biggest hindrance, is finding people who are willing to go that extra mile, and then on top of that, be supported by leaders who believe in that.
Absolutely.
And not about themselves.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you did good there. You know, now here's another tough question for you, right? And this is just coming from somebody with no kids. I don't have no kids in school, nothing. But you know, I'm an observant person. I like to observe, right? I'm heavy on social media, unfortunately, and you know, I think we could both agree that it's important maybe for a parent to be involved in their child's education. Do you think sometimes parents can overstep their boundaries a little bit? And it's like, you know, do you think that there has to be boundaries when it comes? Because, you know, I be seeing some parents be going, it's like, okay, you have to let
them find their way.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because sometimes we, as a parent, and I'm learning this.
Yeah.
Because me and my wife, we're having a hard time. But with my child, I can say this. Even as an educator today, I'm like, I had to step back, man.
Yeah.
She's developing her own self. My daughter's developing who she is.
Yeah,
just because I was passionate about XYZ.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily.
Just because I made C's doesn't mean she's cool with it. She wants A. Oh, it's a C. You passed. What are you tripping on?
Yeah.
No, Dad, I need a 98. Like, that's some weird stuff to me.
Okay,
like,
I was happy with my 70.
Hey,
but you know, the passing grade in New York, because I'm from, is 65, and in Florida was 60, and then when I moved to Texas, it was 70. I was like, oh,
y'all are different.
I was like, y'all got some different shit going on in this state. Yeah.
But that's my attitude with
Okay,
it.
gotcha.
So I think it's often we want the best for our kids, and it can be the point as parents we can often do the most because we have this idea or image of what we believe they need to be. But we have to realize that when they take that first breath, they're people themselves.
Yeah.
And we don't know what, we can point them on that road, but we don't know which direction they're going to go. And I'm trying to make sure, like I try to tell my daughter every morning, be unapologetically you.
Gotcha.
Don't worry. Don't make your decision. It was like even her decision what school she would go to as far as high school. Don't make your decision based off me.
Right.
Look at the options and do they align with what you want to do?
Sure.
And I'm going to support you.
And don't go where all your friends are going.
Don't make that decision.
Those aren't going to be all your friends. They're not going to be your same friends. Still, okay?
Don't do that. That's a huge mistake.
Now, lucky for me, my best friend in high school is still my best friend today.
All right.
He's the only one I keep in touch with.
Out of everybody, though,
everybody. You know, there's some people, hello, how are you? You know what I mean? But he's the only one. Shout out to Jaime.
Because it's so hard to help them see that because their young minds in their world, 14 years, 15 years, 17 years, whatever, it seems like this is the group.
Exactly.
This is who I'm with.
These are my people, and this is,
And so you got to be yourself. I think about some of my kiddos I went to school with, guys I went to school with, and seeing their path. Like, one of them, man, this guy was outstanding. He's still an outstanding person to me. And Augustine Flores, man, that guy is outstanding. Man. He lives his life, man.
Yeah.
And I respect that so much. And I think you just got to encourage everybody to break those stereotypes of what you think others should want you to be and just go out there and be you. And as parents, provide the basic amenities, provide Maslow's needs, whatever. Create a safe space for them to do themselves and then support them. As long as they ain't harming nobody, make sure they get what they need to go.
Okay, I see. I love that. I love that so much. Now, you know, Alonzo, kids have when we were growing up, we did not have no cell phones. We did not have no iPads. I had my CD player. Okay, that was the unskippable one, which they lied about. By the way, okay, yes, they did. I had the hoodie with the CD player right here, and that was it. All right, okay, perfect. And it was embarrassing when it fell out of the pocket and the batteries came out too. But you know, kids just have. Every kid has a phone now. Every kid has an iPad, and no matter how much you put protection on those things, it's almost as if they find their way around it. Do you know what I mean? I wonder, do you and schools now too, they have like Chromebooks and iPads and stuff like that. Do you think that the access to technology that kids have now, do you think that that's a bad thing, or do you think that there's pros and cons?
No, I think there's pros and cons, but I don't think the idea of removing is the best.
Okay.
Because what I do believe in establishing expectations or guidelines to create the environment you need there, but it's almost hypocritical because as educators, we got them on 24/7 too.
Wow. Okay.
We got all those devices.
Sure.
And so how do you learn to manage your use of those devices and set the example for kids of how you want to use it? Like I don't think we should go backwards with an idea thinking we'll end up going forward. You got to embrace it. This technology's not going nowhere.
Most definitely.
I know 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, they can all swipe left, move, go here, show
don't
you
even
this.
know how to spell. They're like, oh, here's what I was looking for. Like
right there.
Yeah.
So we need to embrace it. And there's cons with it though.
Yeah.
Because especially if there's negative activity or anything like that, they can easily group up to make that happen on you in 5 seconds.
Yep.
And the level of virtual harassment can go to another level. And it's so different. The best example I can think about when I was in school, You write that letter, say, "Do you like me?"
Okay, yeah,
yes or
yeah.
no.
Well, I had a slam book, yeah.
I
had a slam book.
so that letter's out, and you got to her, and then she looks at it, and then she passed that note to this person.
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh man, I'm sweating. Who's reading this?"
What are you doing?
But today, like, one incident, one text, boom, it's shared a whole group. Everybody, the whole school knows within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Can you imagine how much of a nightmare that would have been back in the day?
I couldn't make it.
Oh my
I couldn't deal with it. And
yeah.
I don't think we often think about the complexities of those moments. You know, your body's changing, you're going through life, you're trying to discover who you are. And then on top of, if I make this one accident, everybody's gonna see it in 3 minutes.
Most definitely.
No.
Most definitely. Do you think that having access to technology like that, do you think that just amplifies bullying in school?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It makes it easy. It's so accessible, right? It's not hard to do. And the thing is, you know, they say a picture tells 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Now that person can take an image and just change it, alter it, make it do whatever it want, and then here you are.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so those things are possible. While that may be the world that our kids are going in, we got to also remember that schools do nothing more than reflect our society.
Yeah.
So how do you get that school now to change or influence those young minds to use that skill set, that energy for the better?
And it's so crazy too, because what it does as well, because now kids are like on Instagram and probably not even on Facebook. We're old. We're on Facebook. Yeah, we're the Facebookers. But you know, like they're just so involved even with like the things that their parents. I'll tell you what, Alonzo, when I was growing up, I couldn't tell you who my parents had beef with. I couldn't tell you who they had friends with. No. I couldn't tell you nothing. They would always stay in the room. But now it's like they're so in tune with what's going on with their parents. You know, because they're all fighting with each other and bickering and this and that. Like they don't even learn how to constructively handle conflict.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's so sad to see that.
Like, Mom, I see you unfriended so-and-so. What is that about? Like, they all they're going into them.
And then if, God forbid, the kids go to the same school.
You didn't talk to my mom?
Yeah. Well, your mom and my mom were fighting at Paparolo's, and I'll whoop your ass. But you know what I mean? And it's like, you know what I mean? I know my mom.
Shout out to Paparolo's.
No, I'm just giving an example off the top of my head. Nothing happened at Paparolo. I don't need Paparolo's coming from. All right? Matter of fact, y'all should be getting your pizza from Lucas Pizzeria at 3125 Belmead Drive.
All right.
You know, I hate how accessible technology is for kids, almost to where like I feel like if I ever have a kid, I don't want to give them a cell phone. You know what I mean? Like,
I fought with that a long time.
Yeah, but then now they're in programs, and you have to be able to, because where we live in is also different.
Yeah,
and the adults don't know how to act, and we got these men out here doing and shit, and it's like, ugh.
Yes, sir.
Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different. Okay. Do you think an educator's job can sometimes be underestimated, or is it underestimated? You know, I look at social media, and I think it was just last night, Alonzo, I saw a viral video of, it was a kid who looked like he was probably no more than in the 5th grade, and a teacher, you know, stop talking or put your phone down or something. And it was, you know, excuse my French. She was like, shut up, bitch. Like, you know, like I couldn't imagine the phone call that my parents would be getting and the ass whooping that would be waiting for me at home. But now it's almost as if just something to make it go viral and look cute. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that it's harder for educators now than it was maybe 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that helped the educator be successful is that level of respect. And when that's missing, it makes it harder for the true function of a classroom to exist.
Yeah.
It makes it more challenging when there's that lack of that, and the level of accountability so harder, so much higher for teachers than it was ever before, and especially with the, you know, with the access to video cameras and all that. That's why I think about, again, like you asked me, what was the thing that helped me with my class? You have to put it, as a teacher today, you have to put in that work to show kids that you truly are passionate. You truly do care, and you're making it connect to your audience. Because if you don't, that respect, you're not going to get it. Yeah. And it's going to be a hard time for you as a professional, and you really gotta step your game up to gain it. Because if you don't, you're going to have a hindrance.
Sure. With the amount of things that kids are used to getting away with though these days, do you think sometimes the parents can make it hard to keep them accountable?
In most cases,
yeah.
Because each home's expectation of what's okay and what's not is different.
It's different.
Yeah. Just because the school has this standard doesn't mean it's the same standard at home.
There's some things on my social media that I see that I'm like, you let your kids get away with that in school? The ass whooping that would have been waiting for me at the house? What are you talking about? My parents wish I staged a walk out at school. To see but
here's the thing. Like, you can, as a parent, you can have that expectation. Like, I love my kiddos. Yeah. But again, I don't know what's going through their head tomorrow. I don't know what they may do next week. And all I know is I know parents who are extremely involved and ready to go, and their kid still chooses XYZ. And, you know, so I think it just goes in hand in hand, and just people are complex. I don't know which way to go.
At the end of the day, your kid goes to school to learn. They're not there to make a fashion statement. They're not there to look cute for the viral video, whatever the case. It's like adults. You go to work to work. That's it. You know what I mean? And that was just what we grew up on. But I just feel like that value is just disintegrating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's just going away.
Whether it be the workplace or in school. I think
Gosh, Alonzo, you know, I know you're booked and busy. You got to go soon, right? But I just, one more thing. We talk about discipline. We talked a lot about discipline during the show. You know, I wonder, what in your perspective is the importance of discipline in school? And why, particularly somebody like you and what you do, why is it so vital to enforce it and nip it in the bud?
All right. I think discipline sometimes gets... some people have a different mindset about it and thinking that it's a punishment process.
Yeah.
To be disciplined is to be someone who is disciplined in the sense of learning what's wrong, learning what's right, disciplining and changing a person's actions and who they are. And so I think about somebody that has a disciplined diet, which I try my best to. Though it's not a punishment, it's a way of trying to harness their wants versus their needs and manage what they want to do. And I think in education, discipline is needed.
Yeah.
And you have to nip it in the bud, because what ends up happening is I don't want that 16-year-old, 15-year-old, or that current 9-year-old to be in a position when they hit 20 that they don't want to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you have the discipline within the school, within the classroom for all students, and you get them all on that same page, then by the time they reach the age of 20, they can look back and say, thank you.
Yeah.
I think about, again, Armando Jacinto, when I played football, coach, and all that. He wasn't playing with me. The 16-year-old version of me, he was not accepting anything less than my best every single day.
Yeah.
And I despised him and didn't like it at the time.
Yeah, sure.
If he didn't do what he did,
and
just keep it 100 with me, then that idea of going to college would have never happened. The idea of going to college and graduating would have never happened.
Wow.
Because that discipline that he instilled in me, I was now able to go off on my own to the state of Kansas and be up there. No mom, no dad. Now you have a new supervisor. He's called head coach, and he's not playing with you. And he's ready to cut.
Yeah.
And so now you're looking at it like, do you now have the internal discipline and skill to succeed at this level and still be focused on your academics? And if it wasn't for what I learned in Waco ISD, my life would not be where I'm at right now.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's pretty. You know, Alonzo, there's so many things I want to ask you that, you know, I had to do in a brunch setting. That I had to do in a brunch setting, right? Because we got to keep it cute. But, there, you know, I just think that so much of what you said today was so enlightening. I love getting your perspective on things. I think a lot of the parents watching this whose kids do attend Waco ISD are going to see things maybe a little bit different. They may disagree in the message me, like they always do. You know what I mean? But, you know, Alonzo, what's your ultimate goal before we go? What is your ultimate goal on everything that you're doing in life?
For me, it's very simple. Just continue to be someone that's available. In fact, I live by these three pillars. Whatever. Just try to remain optimistic, dependable, and someone that keeps things as simple as possible. Yeah. And that's what I just try to live by. As far as overarching goal, continue to be a person that can serve this community, whether I get it wrong or get it right. Drop ego at the door and let's get to work. Let's serve.
That's it.
That's it.
Alonzo, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I know you got somewhere to be. You know, I'm just so grateful that you penciled me in here.
Thank you.
With the number 2 pencil, all right? With the eraser behind it. Thank you.
No red ink.
Okay. No, and you know, I truly wish you nothing but the best. Yes, and, you know, as it pertains to, you know, us meeting, I want to thank you for that and, you know, just everything that you did behind the scenes there. And you truly, I hold you in such high regards. And I'm so grateful. And I hope that our peers can learn something from you and know that we can be the change that we really want to be.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yes, Alonzo, thank you. To all of you guys that tuned into this episode, Alonzo McAdoo was on the public affair. Finally, I did it. Okay. You know, to everybody who's scared to come on the show, Alonzo, wasn't that bad, right? It was nice.
No, soon said it. I've never been in Alico.
Yeah, you see, hello. Okay, and you get a free building Alico thing, okay? To all of you guys, I've got more of the public affair on the way, of course. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, before we go, Alonzo, I'm just going to give a shout out just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of the public affair. Of course, the Pollo Box and Audio with Jeffrey Monreal, home for audio your LED needs and auto accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and so much more. He gave me a bass system in my car. So when you're at the Robinson Gardens and you hear Cheetah Girls bumping, that's me. That was me. Okay. And don't worry about whose house I was leaving. All right. He's your one-stop shop to get everything done in one roof, boil box, and audio. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. We gave him a shout out earlier on the show, or maybe it was off camera, but Sid Rodriguez at Elite Barbershop on Hewitt Drive. Call now on this number on the screen or download the Squire app to book. Walk-ins are welcome as well. He has Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, Isai Reyes, Sam Ceballos, and Kayla Chapa. Making you look at snacks I have for more than 200 and something. I lose count. I lose count until it's time to upload it, but it's 200 and something episodes of The Public Affair. My boy Sid Rodriguez has made sure I was looking fresh on every single episode. So Sid, thank you so much. Of course, the Ana Limones Hummingbird Party backdrops and decor. Call for our party decor, including beautiful balloon props, giving an extra flair to your party or event with a number of wooden backdrops as well. Her decorating skills are absolutely unrivaled, darling. Y se habla español también. Call the number on the screen. Hummingbird Party backdrops and decor. Thank you so much. And of course, to my boy Julio Arriaga with JC Painting and Drywall LLC. Contact for all drywall and beautiful new paint for your property, both commercial and residential. His work is honest and true and can guarantee 100% satisfaction. That's right. He truly lives by his slogan. Just imagine, and we can make it happen. Call today. Get scheduled. Se habla español. Julio Arriaga. Muchas gracias por todo. Mucho gracias. To all of you guys, thank you again. Alonzo, I love this conversation so much. I think this is one of my faves so far. Oh, cool. It is. Yeah, it was so different. It was very, my best friend, Jaime, he's going to love it. Oh, right. Sometimes he said, Andrew, what you talked about was too much, but this one he's going to like. Yeah, I hope my friends watch this one and they're like, and to all of you guys, thank you so much. And don't forget to always keep it between us. That's it.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.